All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for One Ounce, episode 9. All right.
Boy,
the
today
Mariners.
continues.
Yeah, they have to deal with this shit now.
Yep.
This is a real game.
Yeah.
Somehow.
After all of that ridiculous shit.
Yep.
Like,
the
mound being torn up, the pitcher basically changing teams, or at the very least allegiances, you know, and everything else. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see who
and
wins.
then the question is, will they just call it at a later inning? Will they let the game go the full 9 innings? Will this be a game where, at this point, the pitcher for the Mariners is still just not going to want to play the game in general?
Right. Yeah.
In a lot of ways, Toa has the morale side of things going for the Lycaons because they came back from nothing to
this.
Actually make this a real game.
Right.
And in some ways, that kind of momentum will be really hard for the psychology of the other team's defense, basically.
Right.
Be like, well, okay, sure, we have our batters, but we let this game happen.
And Toa also let this game happen because, holy shit, he gave up a ton of runs.
Right.
At a 20 times rate.
Yes.
Okay.
Theoretically, he might be forever screwed in the contract, sans some kind of crazy instance where the game has some other technicality rule,
right,
where the runs put underneath this measure fall under some kind of intentionally sabotage rule or something like that. But otherwise, no, he's gonna owe the owner quite a bit,
right,
on his contract.
Which could be the way to lock him in for the rest of the season of like, oh shit, I'm in a lot of debt, I can't pay that, so I need to win this back. Or maybe it's the thing of where, you know, he needs to make sure that the coach does some fuckery so that resets it to 0, you know?
Sure.
Who knows?
Very possible. So yeah, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. So they're going to play 1 more inning, or they're going to play 5 more innings? Oh, shit.
Yeah, the coach is doing some fuckery.
The coach, okay.
主催者が了承しない限りコールドゲームは成立しない。
さっき電話で最強新聞社の社主に頼んでおいたのさ。ノーゲームにしないでくれってね。
Viva la Revolution.
You know, the umpire like overrules it or
今頃
something.
泡食ってるぞ。時間稼ぎのために相手に与えた16点が自分の首を絞める結果になったんだからな。
He's kind of pissed too.
もしもし。ああ、あんたが何の用だ。君、これからどうするつもり
Oh
かね。
shit.
この試合。勝つさ。試合を成立させるってことは140億近い負債をかぶることになるんだぞ。140億だぞ。
心配ねえよ。一銭も払わねえ。
What the
それどころ
fuck?
かこの試合で俺が取ったアウトの分。
結局ストレートのフォアボール。得意のカーブが決まりません。さあ逆転のランナーを出したリカオンズ。次の打者は一発もある新井。
Alright, yeah. And a big lead off, and he has to ignore him. Ball again.
ロツ田代またもボール先行。
Okay.
Yeah.
新井空振り。カーブと投げてきた田代。打って変わってのストレートに新井完全に振り遅れました。
と言われると
Right,
な
because
ん
then
か
the
大打者
pitch
の風
itself
格が
doesn't
見え
really
るよ
matter.
な。
You can just look for what it is.
2-2の追い込まれたカウントに異常に弱く。
Right, because then there's pressure.
今年は17打席で1本もヒットがない。
新井さん、楽に行こう、楽に。
Doesn't inspire confidence.
次はどっちだ。カーブか。
Yep, he just can't guess, yep.
でも打ちに行って打ち損ねたら終わりだし。
Third kind of
見送ったら三振だし。ああ、どうしよう。
Fastball.
Oh my
悪い
god.
悪い。キャッチボールしてたら手が滑っちゃって。
何すんじゃ、てめえは。
That snapped him out of it.
まあ
Oh,
新井さんに
okay.
何言
wow,
ったんだ。
Toa, you son of a
教
bitch.
えてやったのさ。
え
100% カーブってな。
本当にカーブだ。
Oh, hell yeah!
All right.
Oh, shit!
Damn.
That run could be it.
予言じゃない読みさ
And maybe if they had the different
田代の試
pitcher,
合再開後の
you
カーボ
know.
ール球種は全てカーブだった次の新井さんにも2つ続けてカーブを投げたそれもまたボール
See.
この時点で
Yeah.
田代はこの豪雨の中でもカーブを投げられるコツをつかみかけたんだ
So it's natural that he'd want to use
ノー
it.
2で制球の怪しいカーブはもうな
He needed to do fastballs from here on out. Yep.
これでまた田代はもう一球カーブを試してみようと思っ
Because
た
he has the ability to throw one more ball
制
if
球
it,
の
if
不
it
安を
gets to
拭うた
that.
めに
Right.
だからあそこはカーブしかなかったんだ
まあ半分は正解って
Oh, wow. Okay, flex on it. What's the other half?
Yeah.
そして迷いを捨てただひたすらタイミングを合
Wow.
わせるこ
It
とだけを
didn't
考
matter
え
whether
て
it was
打席に
actually
入り
curveball or fastball.
結果タイムリーヒットだ
さあ5回表マリナーズの攻撃はおそらくこれが最後となるでしょう
I get the
さら
feeling
に
there aren't any,
マリナ
many
ーズの
rain
打順は
cancellations
高
and
見
one
そし
outs.
てトマス・ブルックリンと強力クリーンナップが待ち受けています
Oh, top of the lineup.
All right.
ざまあねえな16点の
Oh, he's specifically trying to piss them off.
トロイ采配で試合をダメにした監督の責任
Oh!
は大きいな
Damn.
勝負はまだ決まってねえだろうが
Hey.
こんなピッチングもしてねえくせに勝ったようなこと
Props to the manager for keeping his composure.
俺が監督ならこんな負けゲームの勝負にかけないで主催者の気が変わるまで時間稼ぎしてノーゲーム
Oh.
Wow.
そこまで言い切ったんなら負けた時の責任きっちり取れよ疲労はピークにあ
That
る
or it's all
上
part of
に
his
時間
domination.
を追うに従って
No, 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 no. This is huge because they're at the
そ
top
し
of
て
the
いつから
inning.
始まる打線
If he shuts them out here, they'll have to respond that way in defense at the bottom of the inning. It only happens if they tie it or
低回転
exceed
ボールを投げること
by
ができ
one
ない
point.
それにこれだけ
Like
の
they
豪
can't
雨だ
do it if they're losing.
コントロールもままならなくなるだろうそうとも今のやつは全く恐れるに足り
I
ぬ
don't know. All those bogus pitches he threw might have been him resting
なぜ
up.
なんだこんなにもやつが気になるのは
God, the mind games are so real.
つくづく因果な男よ徳地とはこの試合勝とうが負けようがその肩には140億もの負債がのしかかるんだからな
だが徳地は試合を成立させ一銭も払わないという一体どうすればそんなことができるというんだ
Oh. Oh.
なかなかストライクが入りません
3-1 count.
さあカウントが苦しくなった徳地第5球
What if he just walked there? Okay.
ファウルボール
Oh.
Oh, okay.
その球スタンドにぶち込んでやる
Don't get too greedy though.
2-3のフルカウント徳地次が勝負球投げた
もらった
Shit.
Wait. Okay.
Holy shit.
ストライクバッターアウ
One down, two to go.
Whoa.
低回転ボールそれも好調時よりも回転は殺されていた
So it dropped a lot. How?
なぜ
Yeah.
疲労困憊の特殊にこんな球が投げられるんだ雨かこの土砂降り指が引っかからないのを見てあえて滑らせ
It made it a natural knuckleball by
やつ
the.
を不利にするその思い込み
Holy shit.
やつはこれを待っていたんだ
No shot. Oh my god.
ストライクブルックリンのバットも無情に空を切る
さてと次で140億をチャラにするか
But how would it cancel it?
Yeah.
第3球投げた打ったしかしボテボテのピッチャーゴロ王者マリナーズ万事休す
ガデン
あっと特殊なんと取ったボールを
He's
一
gonna
塁に
make
送
the
球し
guy
ようと
get
し
so
ない
angry.
これは一体
このボールをタッチすれば試合成立そうびくつくな まだ終わらせねえよ。
What the fuck?
この始末はどうつけるつもりだ。責任取るんだろ。負ける気がしないゲームを結局負けにした永久戦犯さんよ。
Oh shit! Oh
Okay.
shit! Holding them hostage! He's holding them hostage!
Yeah.
読みの浅い采配でせっかくの勝ちゲームをドブに捨てた。それもキラと田代二人のピッチャーだけ。
He's leveling all of it at them.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Understand
走
the
者に
pain.
牽制球を投げることさえも許されず、今日一日だけでシーズン防御率はボロボロ。
Uh-huh.
キラなんか4回まで2安打無失点の好投していたにもかかわらず。
彼らには悪いことをしたと思っている。
Damn.
はあ
That's
So
a pretty
that-
cheap
Yes,
apology.
that all? Yeah.
なら教えてやるよ。責任を取るっていうのはな、痛い思いをするってことだ。迷惑をかけた人間が被った以上の痛みを自分も背負うってことだ。
This feels like it's part of Toa's character here.
悪臭をまき散らす工場の社長は、その工場の煙突のすぐ横に屋敷を構えるのさ。
Jeez.
それが責任を取るってことだ。
Whoa.
He's holding the game in his hand.
一体何をやろうとしているんだ。
で、貴様は俺がどう責任を取るべきだと言いたいんだ。
あんたは多少痛い思いをするだろうが、それと引き換えに田代やキラが負った傷は完全に消える。それはこの試合を放棄する。
試合放棄や。
ふざけるな。
Okay.
そんなことできるわけねえだろ。
なんでどっちにしたって負けは負けじゃねえか。それは同時に
Wow,
キ
yeah.
ラや田代の今季成績に大量自責点という傷をつけるって。
So if you wipe that, that's great.
だが2人の自責点はというと消える。
野球規則4の
Yeah, okay, okay, let's hear it.
高校チームリードで5回表、もしくは先行チームリードで5回裏が完了されないうちに試合が放棄された場合、すべて抹消される。
Oh shit!
All right.
ほう、そんなルールがあるのか。
しまった。
なんだ、声を出して。
やられたんですよ。
Yeah.
まんまと特地に個人記録が全て無効になるってことは、つまり特地の自責点も消えるってことです。
ワンナウス契約では単純に特殊が取られた点数に払いが生じるんだ。
No.
個人記録が消えようが試合で16点と。
Because they weren't scored in this game then.
野球規則4の15、試合放棄によりその試合が没収試合となった場合、
A valid game.
それまでの試合の経過のいかんにかかわらず9対0として成立。
Oh, wait, what? Wait, really?
Holy shit.
試合放棄なんかすりゃあんたもそれなりのペナルティを食うだろうが、その痛みを負うことでキラや
Yeah, your team will be stronger after this.
This is like the ultimate invoke super specific rule.
Right, right.
And yet it makes sense for him to do it.
Some be okay, ka.
2、1。
この試合を放棄する。
Wow. Holy shit.
In some ways, the logical thing for them to do, though. You bitch, he's so pissed.
こういうことだったのか。
There's nothing.
4回3分の2を投げ、アウト14、失点0。
Yep,
この試合は20倍のレートであるため、
yep.
この時
Uh-huh.
点で特地とは
Give it to us.
暫定年俸21億3500。
Oh my god.
Show, y'all.
Holy shit.
This show. This is
I-
this is some next level like
I-
JoJo's planned around your plan
yeah.
kind of shit.
I absolutely loved that resolution.
Yeah.
Like
It's
it-
perfect.
because
Because it's like a mini arc that we just resolved right
Yep,
now,
yep.
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
And okay, you had Toa do the impossible thing. right?
Exactly.
Where the odds could not be more stacked against him.
Mhm.
And he didn't necessarily have this planned completely from the get-go.
No, definitely
There was
not.
a lot of it that was like good improvisation combined with long-term planning, right? Like
Mhm.
he's aware of the whole thing of the rain and everything. Okay, cool.
Yep.
That's something I can lean on. I definitely won't
Right.
be able to play this game regularly the entire way because I am exhausted. But if I hold out for one inning,
Right.
maybe.
Yeah.
But Okay.
What I really liked about this especially is you can see, kind of just like thinking back on it, the ways in which he set up also for this final inning to go a specific way. He used basically something that we did have basically prior established knowledge of the rain to be an advantage for his throwing. The idea that he's like, okay, I can only throw fastballs. That's never changed. One of the things that's rather cool about that as a limitation is that Toa doesn't throw breaking balls. The balls will not break, which means the only thing that they can do, theoretically, is rise a little bit or sink to some kind of dramatic level. It's much easier to make a ball sink a certain amount than it is to make a ball rise, because you need to increase the spin dramatically after the release, which is, it's insanely hard. Basically, it's you might as well just be throwing super fast fastballs and they just kind of move up a little bit. But with the dropping balls, you need to find ways to control the spin to slow to almost nothing,
while at the same time,
throwing a fast
go the
ball
distance accurately, and exactly,
which is very hard. And so in the rain, he has less ball control. But in this case, he uses that to his advantage to throw a semi-natural knuckleball, which will sink, but it's also very easy to hit because, in general, the ball is thrown a lot slower. I mean, a lot slower.
Yeah.
So he threw slower balls intentionally at times to make them think, oh, shit, okay, he's just changing the timing up.
Right,
so
because
that
he's tired, he can't throw that hard.
Oh, right, and that's the only thing he can do to mess with me. But the knuckleball was the next level on the slower ball, which not only was slower, it dropped, which sets up the reason as to why the guy hit a grounder to the pitcher in such a way, because the ball is wet and, well, not ball's wet, but the ground is wet and nasty, it's going to stop at him. It's not going to go further, because if the ball goes low enough, the bat will only tip the top part of it, and it will go right in front, and he can just pick up the ball, run into the first baseline, and be like, where are you going to go, bitch?
Right, because
that,
that was the other thing that was crazy about it, is that he didn't need to just have the final batter be out.
Yeah.
He needed to have them get the ball to him.
On a grounder. On 2 outs.
Right, so that he could leverage that kind of power.
Yes, and have no one on base.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
and it makes sense that the thing that could have otherwise been made it much more difficult if he was going up against one of the other two hitters, he was actually going up against the easiest one.
Yes.
Because he was the most predictable, regardless of whether he's super strong, right?
Right.
So, yeah, he can make him dance. He can get something precise like that. Absolutely. That's something that I would not have believed
that the really good batter
would have let happen. That he could have gotten him out. Cool. Yeah. All right. I get that. Right. There's a lot of janky stuff going on, and I firmly believe that Toa would have a lot more experience with something like this than he would. Right.
Right.
So
for sure.
Okay. Cool.
And that batter was the one that he needed to use the most tactics on. He threw a basic fastball in the inside corner to say, I do have ball control. And then he threw 3 balls to make him be like, wait, does he have ball control?
And then he gets one more strike off of him because he thinks, wait, does he off of that? And then immediately he corrects and is like, no, yeah, he was messing with me. But by that point, he has 2 strikes.
Right. And I really liked this because this was something where probably Toa knew, okay, this is the point where I have to actually run my luck a little bit here. He threw essentially a slower fastball. He just threw probably like 10 miles an hour slower. When he did that, though, the guy was so ready to crush the ball, he hit a foul ball through the left side, which means he was so far out in front of the ball because it was so slow that he nearly probably got a home run, but hit it so far to the left that it's foul ball, it's null and void. And at that point, he's already won. He's in his head. He made him basically course correct. And now he's like, well, shit, okay. Relax, dude. You got this.
Yeah, threw off his game. And
then he surprises him with one more pitch that he has to basically use on this because,
yeah. And
it's so good.
Like, the thing that has surprised me so much about this show is that they have Toa do the rule of cool stuff while at the same time making me actually really like him as a person.
Ooh, sure.
It's difficult to have someone be competent and cool while at the same time having them be
like kind of gloating about it.
Yeah, having them be right, and also have them be gloating about it because they need to antagonize the other team to make sure that they can continue this streak, right?
Right.
without making them kind of unlikable. And you can like a character in their unlikability, you know?
Oh, totally.
Or you can like a character because they're cool, but that's a different kind of enjoying them as a person, right?
Yeah.
Whereas with this, we're seeing all the ways in which Toa is caring for his team and even caring about the other team.
The other team's pitchers. Now, that was the part where you're like, okay, Toa, you're going to make waves in this league just in general.
Now, the thing is, does he have a vested interest in it going a particular way?
But no one else knows about that.
But no one else knows about that. Did he specifically make it very difficult for these pitchers? Yes, he was the one who chewed up the mound, right? That made them have this terrible experience.
Absolutely.
But, I mean, you know, he's just shining a light on how horrible, you know, this coach is treating them, right? You know, he's just letting them out themselves, pun intended, you know.
Yeah. In some ways, the fact that their runs that they acquired on Toa in the first 3 or 4 innings were all, like, sequential. It wasn't all in one massive chunk. Also shows something about the way in which their play was consistent, whereas the manager for the Mariners showed this inconsistency by things not being basically adhered to specific principles once the going got tough for them.
Yeah, like
basically showing that he treats them differently as players once the game is a losing game.
Right.
And that shows in some ways that, yes, he does care about the batters more than you. He does care about winning more than your potential career, where, yes, a pitcher's career will be forever altered if they go from having a, 3 to 4 ERA to having a 4 to 6 ERA. That's a crazy difference.
You're dealing at the professional level where that
means everything.
Yep.
We're counting the .01 every bit there.
Yeah.
Those are little celebrations. Yeah.
And one of the other things that I love about this is that it was also this kind of like self-fulfilling thing where the very things that he did to try and make the game go faster actually ended up making it go slower. Because if he had given the pitchers the time to practice some pitches, maybe they would have been able to have less nerves, certainly adjusted to the rain better, you know? And then when they're throwing, it's not a thing of like, oh shit, I don't know what I'm doing here, and this is this crazy new environment.
This could have been just a tie game.
Yeah.
Because the Lycaons still scored off of the pitcher. And while the pitcher was starting to figure things out, Toa had to pull some shenanigans. He threw a ball from the dugout to his own batter's face to just shock everyone out of this and be like, wait, what the fuck did you just do? He's like, yeah, sorry, catch. Yeah, I missed through. And that could have been the thing where the umpire was like, okay, you're out of the game. Like,
right, you've been causing too much trouble, as it is, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Toa risked a bit there to do that.
Yep.
And the batters, the people that, basically made that happen, the runner, the batter in that case there, the team, while that doesn't get reflected on their records necessarily, the team knows that they pulled through. The team knows that they came in clutch when they needed them most. Those 9 runs are all effectively those 2 guys' runs and then Toa's by extension on the defense side of things.
Sure. Yeah, it's right.
Yeah.
This was a hell of a game.
Yeah,
and
hell of a game.
And even the other thing that I want to bring up is that having an obscure rule that we didn't know about until now could make for a very unsatisfying ending.
For sure.
Because it can feel like
it was pulled out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's pulled out of nowhere. The stakes just sort of disappear, and then it's hard to get invested in the stakes because you think, okay, well, Toa's going to win, even if reasonably it seems like he really should lose.
For sure.
But just looking at the rule, I feel like there's some things that we can understand about why it probably exists. One, so that things like this can happen.
Yeah.
So that basically people can just realize this was a clusterfuck, right?
Yeah.
This game shouldn't have happened. You win. We get it.
And we lose 9-0, meaning when we reflect basically our team's record, the person who takes the most responsibility in this case is the people that were in leadership on site at the game. Not the players, because they have no records on their game there.
It's it's that exact kind of like it's like it feels like it's a rule that's made for this kind of event.
Yep.
Not that the rule would be thinking of a character like Toa,
No,
right?
no.
But that some crazy shenanigans happen that you have that weird fluke
It broke
outlier
the spirit
game
of the game, basically.
that broke the spirit of the game, and
Yep.
it's like, okay, we need a reset, right?
Yep. Now, one side needs to take responsibility for that reset, which means that on some level, it might be a game of chicken to see who's going to forfeit first,
Sure.
But one side is probably going to be theoretically feeling a little bit more of the pressure in this case here, because let's flip it. Let's say, in this case, the Lycaons were the visiting team, so they're at the top.
Sure.
They're winning by 1. Then you have a setup where they're on offense at the bottom of the inning, and they realize as they're going to put their third batter out there, like, oh shit, I don't think we're gonna score one more in this there. And it's not a thing of where, he's standing there with the ball. They just call their batter back and be like, yeah, we're forfeiting the game.
Yeah, this is yep.
Yeah. We're just a wash. We don't think we can beat you. So statistically, it's still a loss either way for us. But in this case, I'm going to think about my players who had to deal with all this shit.
Yep.
And yeah, I'll take the L because this happened.
Right.
And then also rely a bit on my just general negotiating and diplomacy skills with upper management to be like, hey, here's the recordings of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
This was some weird shit.
This was the right
Please
call.
don't take this out on my players.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're going to take it out on me, please consider the extenuating circumstances.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's going to make the Mariners stronger as a team.
Oh, I absolutely think so because it'll make them stronger as a team, and because it made them stronger as a team, the coach can use that and basically say, yes, like I messed up, and that's why I contributed to why we were in this situation in the first place.
Exactly.
But this call was the right call.
Yeah, and can maybe consider my performance in the next series or two against other teams to show you that this was a fluke. I am still a fantastic coach for the team, and maybe even this would be a cool thing to show. They probably won't, because it's probably just going to focus on another team facing the Lycaons. Is like, hey, ask the players who do they want to manage at that point independently, and have it be anonymous or what have you.
Yeah,
and maybe you could have it be a thing where if more than one person or more than or if any of them want me to step down, I will.
Right, and I could see that. In a lot of ways, being one of the big jobs of the coach is being the intermediary between the business side of things and the players.
They absolutely are,
right? Yeah. Because yes, their job is to help the team win games.
Yeah,
but their job is also to take care of the players. Right. So
yeah, there's just to FYI, I believe that's the manager's job. The coach is the person that's on site, calling tactics, basically.
Gotcha. Okay.
So yeah, I think that there's different types of coaches. There's a head coach, and then there's a manager that manages the coaches, and the manager is the one that's more on the business side of things.
Sure, but
the coach is the guy that's going to be your friend.
Right.
He's the one that's going to be like, hey, good stuff out there, sport.
Yep.
That
Exactly.
kind of guy.
Because even amongst the professionals, morale is a thing.
Morale is
right.
huge.
Like people are still people. They're human, and like. We saw what morale could do for the positives and negatives in this game wonderfully. So yeah, and that's the kind of thing that makes me excited, not just about the show, but it makes me excited about baseball.
Yeah, baseball and sports in general. I feel like this was a really good game for understanding the spirit of sports as a game in general, in that sometimes there are positions in sports that favor basically the money side of things and not actually the players who are celebrating their dream and passion of participating in something that they're dedicating their lives for.
Yeah.
And if they're not going to have that respected because there's a possibility that those that are making, money in this situation could get screwed over a little bit because, I don't know, something unforeseen happened or what have you. Yeah, I'd say it's quite common for players to basically get the short end of the stick in that regard. So Toa's character being one about, emphasizing that those in these positions need to take responsibility
Mhm.
in a real, tangible way, not just a fake public apology
I'm
where they just
sorry.
go, "Oh, I'm sorry," and it's
Right.
like, no. That's not how real responsibility is taken.
Mhm.
So it's
Yeah.
exciting because I feel like that infers a lot about his character.
It does, I think, because he did, like, yes, him going into detail about on that whole speech was important for swaying the coach.
He's very persuasive.
Very
yeah.
persuasive, right?
Mhm.
Being very verbose with that. Cool.
Yeah.
But
But it came from a really genuine place.
yeah, I feel like let's just say that Toa, for the most part, from what we've seen so far, has been kind of a con man.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
With how he plays.
Right.
That felt genuine.
Exactly.
Now, it's all part of his con kind of for the owner, right, as well.
Right.
But yeah, I don't think he would be that naturally persuasive if it didn't come from someplace deep. And if we end up going more into that, great. Because I very much want to see more of Toa's motivations, because we have enough of his capabilities and how cool he is with you know, all of that, and then how he interacts with his team in those awesome ways. So now let's, like, you know, if we could get into him.
Yeah, let's piece him apart basically.
Right.
And
Like,
that is this responsibility thing come from an element of where he's vindictive towards upper sports management in general, or is this a specific thing, or is this something where he's the one that feels like he needs to be taking responsibility? Is there some aspect of this that ties into my previous theory of him being in debt in general, or him, like in the OP, doing this for someone else and maybe their debt or something?
Well, and
So
just
there's
the
all kinds
idea
places to go.
of respecting your losses in, like, a bet, that is a form of taking responsibility.
True.
And that was very strongly set up with Kojima at the beginning. So that definitely seems to me like it could be a potential theme of the show.
Yes, very thematically relevant. Yes.
Right. It could just be the gambling thing.
Yep.
But, you know,
But we'll
wouldn't be
see.
surprised if it was more.
Yeah. But all right. Y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
We stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
Next time.